Duke Jackson, back at it again with another episode of the Hall of Game podcast, man. We are back at it again. I really appreciate all of you brothers out there for the support on the particular show. Thank you guys for what you've been doing. And we do have a late night stream tonight now. Sorry about the last week. I've been having some really, really tough internet issues, and also with the notifications that's going on with YouTube. So I haven't been able to do the Hall of Game, and we've lost the momentum of bringing the guys around with the live stream. But we do have our good brother, Dr. Hassani Ali, the doctor here. Not a doctor, but we just call him that. That's what I got it from Dr. D, right? So we got Hassani Ali here, Coach Ali, and we're going to talk about just a basic topic. When should a black man take a risk? We did have this topic with Brother Andre Hatchett, and for whatever reason, Brother Andre Hatchett is not able to join. He was at that time, but maybe he got busy and couldn't make it. So we'll let Brother Ali introduce himself. What's going on, Brother Ali?
Man, O'Shea, Dr. Dre getting a divorce. Cam Newton's going to the Patriots, and there is nobody in the drive-thru at Popeye's Chicken. Something going on today, man. I can't figure out what it is. What's going on with you?
Man, I wanted to do that show actually sometime tomorrow, but that's gonna be crazy, right? But yeah, Dr. Dre, and he didn't have a prenup. But I'm glad you brought that up, man. Tell the people what your channel is about.
Coach Ali here from Coach Ali's Corner, your men's motivational blogger, speaker, and advocate. Helping men stay in the fight. You know, we're beat down every day through the mainstream society. No one really supports men, and so I'm helping become that voice and being an advocate for men to help them achieve their dreams and pushing them to accomplish one thing at a time and staying in the fight.
All right. And again, thank you guys. Sorry, like I said, the notifications have been tripping on my channel as of late. I don't know why, but anyways, we're going to continue to go forth in the process. Doc, again, we have this topic that was provided for us by Brother Andre Hatchett, but like I said, he's not able to make it today, or it seems like maybe it'll come on a little bit later. But we, right now during the pandemic, a lot of people are down and out, right? And we did a show about that. But let me ask you this about this whole ideology of taking a risk, or in business or in life. A lot of people know that they need to take a risk at some point, but when is the best time for a black man, especially in times like this? Because taking a risk right now is very, very dangerous, right? When should a brother take a risk, in your opinion?
That's simple, O'Shea. When the opportunity shows itself, and there's opportunity in everything. Even with the coronavirus, people are getting fired from their jobs. Guess what they're doing? They're starting businesses. People are, the interest rates are so low on mortgages. People are buying homes. When the opportunity presents itself, that's when you take the risk. And I think for a lot of us, we want that risk to have low impact and a high reward. And that's where a lot of us get caught up, is that we want to take the high risk when we know that there's no chance of failing. And if that's the case, then it's not a risk. That's just a calculated move.
Oh, okay. That's interesting. I'm glad you said that. Break that down a little bit more, because I like how you were going with that. Like you said, a lot of brothers are not. Why don't you think a lot of black men in general want to take a risk? In comparisons to like maybe other groups and stuff like that.
Because it's the fear of having to start over. I'll give you a perfect example. Is that, again, let's say with the coronavirus thing, is that let's say you want to quit your job, or maybe you don't want, maybe you're currently not working, you want to start a business. The idea of starting something and it fails, and then you have to go, find a job. You put all the hype into it. You've put so much energy and created a buzz around it. It didn't work. And it's the fear of being judged, being clowned by everybody. Like, I told you couldn't do a business during this time. You should have stayed smart and stayed at your job. You should have found something more stable. It's the idea of losing out or starting over. It's that risk of failure. It's that fear of failure. And so when it comes to taking risk, is a lot of time it's going to be some failure. That's what it's called, taking a risk, especially a high risk that can potentially be a high reward. That's what it's about. I'm stepping out of the comfort of these small, low impact, low reward maneuvers, like having a job. The impact is low because you have a stable income, and the reward is low because you're just getting a paycheck. You have a cap, you have a limit on how much you can make. So if I take a risk and say, you know what, I'm gonna start my own business.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you decide, yeah, it might be risky, but at the same time, instead of this $1,500 check I get, every 2 weeks, I may be able to make $1,500 in 3 days. That's the
Mm-hmm.
risk you're taking, is the ability to provide for yourself, and the reward is what you're getting after. But a lot of
Mm-hmm.
brothers don't want to take that risk because it's risky.
Mm-hmm.
It's as simple as that sounds. Is they don't want to take the risk because it's risky. There's so much that goes into it, and we would rather take the safe route
Mm-hmm.
because stability is what's comfortable. But as you
Mm-hmm.
see, even stable things aren't so stable.
Right.
So you'd rather take the risk, and something great can come out of it. Some of the greatest things we've witnessed in American history came from people taking risk. All your athletes, all your business owners, everybody, from the struggle woods, O'Shea, when you take a risk on something and it comes successful, think about the story you can produce behind it. You know what
Right.
I mean? You took a risk on something and it paid off. I
Right.
started a business during the coronavirus and it paid off. You know what I
Right.
mean? For anybody who's in the sports, like my high school basketball team was down by 3 points. And as soon as I got the ball, instead of doing the play, I took the shot.
Mm-hmm.
The greatest things happens when someone's brave enough to take a risk. And sometimes
Mm-hmm.
we hesitate because what comes with it is the possibility of it's not going to work out.
Mm-hmm.
I'm failing.
Mm-hmm.
It's not the type of reward that I wanted. But again, do you want it, or do
Mm-hmm.
you want to stay, or do you want to play it safe? It's up to you.
Let me. And I couldn't have opened it up any better than that. And shout out to all the brothers here, man. It's just so good to be back on the hall talking to black men, the people that we're trying to help, or just give some information to. I think to build on what you said, like for a lot of us as African American men that come up, it's a lot of times less than stellar circumstances. And so I know for myself, when I was able to get a good job, and my mom and dad split up when I was like 13. My dad, he obviously started a new family. My mom stayed around to help us, and every calculation that I was doing was okay. Now I got to make sure I'm the one that take care of my mom or something like that, right? And then what ends up happening, my older brother had moved on to LA and everything like that. So every little decision I know, like if I don't do X, Y, and Z, not only does it affect me, it affects everybody else. So when I got a good job and I was making like $80,000 a year, I was still helping out a lot in the house, right? I was paying like, I was still staying at home, right? Even when I was like 33, I was still at home. Because
Right.
I was taking, I was there with my mom and my brother. And so the next risk for me was the medical school thing. And I was kind of putting off professional school because I'm like, man, I don't know if I can not earn for a certain amount of years, and my mom needs help or my little brother needs help, and my grandparents one of my grandparents died recently. So I was calculating all those things. And for a lot of black men that come from the circumstances like I come from, and maybe that you come from, that's how we think. Because it took us so long to get to where I remember being on the bus with some lugs boots and niggas driving by and roasting me on the way taking calculus 2 at summer school at American River College. So I remember those days. And when you get to a certain place, it's like, man, I've worked so hard to get here, and so many people depending on me. If I fuck this up, it's done, right? So what most black men are thinking like that. A lot of black men that come from us. I'm talking about like you come from lower class or your parents' single mom or whatever like that, and you come in, you're like, I got what I got right now. I know I could probably do something else, but if I take that risk and it don't work out, I'm fucked. I don't have nowhere else to go or anything else to do. That's where we're at. But let me tell you what you said, right? So I looked at possibilities that I can do, like in 4 or 5 years what would my abilities be able to take me? You know, and this is in general. So when I took the risk to come, I had at least a little bit of money saved up. But I can say that the risk from me going from my job, quitting the job, or getting fired from the last job I had to come in here into what I'm doing now, it was the biggest risk I ever took, but it was the best reward. I want to tell guys this: wherever you're at right now, that's stable. Theoretically, you can get back there if you lose something. Right now, obviously, you don't just jump into anything without being, intelligent about it or knowing something about it. But you can always get back there. The issue is that if you don't make a move right now or sometime soon to get somewhere else, you will always be where you're at. And just what you're saying, right? Taking a risk to try to get further in life and betting on myself, man, that's paying bigger dividends than I could have ever made at the job that I was still at or whatever. Because at the end of the day, if I know who's not going to let me down, is me. I will never let myself down. I mean, at least I don't think I will, right? And I think a lot of black men need to try to understand that, like, you are there where you're at right now because of whatever hard work or lack of work that you've done. But if you want to get more, you're going to have to roll those dice. There's no doubt about it. Like, think about it. If you look back 10 years from now, just look back 10 years from now, 2010. What was something right now that in 2010 you knew about? If you would have hopped on it back then, you would be rich today. If you think about it, we all think about that, right? Like, for example, Bitcoin. Have I known about Bitcoin in 2008?
Bitcoin. Yeah. I was about to say Bitcoin too.
Right. If I would have knew about this, like, okay, that would have been life-changing, right? Like, there are so many things, had we known about it 10 years ago, or we knew about it and passed on it. Like, we even know people like that, right? Think about it, Brother Ali. We know people who took risks and were where we were at, and they surpassed us. And we, like, sometimes a little bit salty. Let's be honest, I'd be salty too. You know what I mean? So
hella salty.
We like, damn, man, this dude, I seen the dude like 3 years ago. He was broke. Now this nigga doing better. He got, like, damn, that could have been me. And a lot of guys need to understand that before you kick the bucket, and we all gonna do that, before you go into that grave, you need to take a chance on yourself. Don't do it for me. Do it for you. And you know one thing? I've taken a chance on myself before and lost $12,000, all the money that I had. So this is not the first time I've done this. But guess what? When I had planetoshayemag.com, I lost $13,000 on it before I came to medical school. Biggest blow, right? I've made $500,000 since then. You know what I mean? Like, in earning, like since 2015, something close to that. So guys, I just want you brothers to know that you can always, even if you fail at taking a risk, that knowledge you have helps you go to the next time when you want to take a risk. Like, that's another thing that you guys don't know. When you take a risk and then you fail, the next time you're closer to the success. Because you might lose everything. But the next time, you probably won't. Go ahead, Ali.
No, and you make a great point, because a lot of times we don't think about how we can rebound. And we talk about starting a business or quitting a job. I'm not saying it may be certain right now, but back then, you could have always found another job to get you back on your feet if you failed at a business.
Right.
It's funny. My best friend, he's a head coach of a junior college basketball team, and when we were younger, we had two childhood friends of ours who always had a hard time talking to women, and not being the risk takers that they were, we had to tell them, like, look, at the end of the day, if she says no, you're back to square one. What do you have to lose? Have a conversation. And a lot of times we spend so much time deflecting or giving reasons as to why we shouldn't invest, why we shouldn't take a risk, why we shouldn't dive into this venture, because it's easier to coach from the sidelines than get in the game. And for a lot of brothers, we do that. We would rather coach from the sidelines, play commentator, telling the person who's actually playing the game how to play. instead of stepping on the court and you know what I'm saying and playing the game.
Right.
You see it all the time, and so it's a matter of what do you want out of life.
Right.
And I'm actually working. I just worked on this video over this past weekend, and you know what, O'Shea, I'm not a big Drake person. I'm really not. But one of the best quotes I've heard from him was I forgot. It's like whatever song he had with Nicki Minaj was that everybody dies, but not everybody lives.
Oh, I never heard that one before.
Yeah, I think it's like the moment for life or something like that with Nicki Minaj. But yeah, one of the quotes is everybody dies, but not everybody lives. And if you think about it, the people who are the most successful took a risk to live. Mm-hmm. I thought about it when I decided to leave my job. One of the last days when I was in the office, I badged in and I took an overall look at the office. I just like sat there for a quick minute and I looked at all the unhappy people typing away at the computer, frustrated, on the phones, getting cussed at, all the disrespect, have to meet deadlines. And you know what? I was like, I don't want this for myself. Mm-hmm. I don't want it for them either, but I can't help them. And so like I said, a lot of times people are so comfortable that they would rather live a miserable life because it's safe. And in this life, you can't always live the safe route. You know what I'm saying? It's like, when people make the argument that house cats, live longer than stray cats, but the stray cats are outside living. Mm-hmm. A house cat that sits in the house all day being fed, gets a toy to play with from now and again, but you put that cat in the wild and it's done for. The most successful people, especially here in America, are risk takers. You have to take the risk because you have to go outside of your comfort zone and go outside of the scale of normalcy to figure out what you can produce and how can you make it beneficial for everybody around you or just make it beneficial for yourself. And I think what we get so mixed up and caught up on is that piece of, especially, with the lack of support from their own community of, if I start this, who's going to laugh at me? If I start this, how many people am I going to have to beg to support? How many people are going to have to get to, just basically jump on board? And it's like, no, you create the momentum yourself, and the right people who needs to be around you or supporting you will jump on. It's how much longer are you going to wait in order to take that risk? When you're for the young cats who are listening, you have plenty of time to do it. You have, hopefully you don't have any obligations, no family, no kids. I had to take a risk with a wife and 2 kids. So I knew my risk was high because at the end of the day, if it didn't work, I still had to feed my family. So I made it a point to say this is not going to fail for me. Mm-hmm. And for a lot of people, that's the mindset you got to have, is that even if you have to tweak your plan, keep at it so you can eventually win. Sometimes, and a lot of brothers, and I was guilty of this too when I was younger, is that we will start something and it'll catch fire for a hot minute, and then once that flame dies down, we'll kind of get discouraged, like, oh, no one, was really feeling it like I thought so. But we didn't stay consistent with it, and we never knew what could have been out of whatever project we were working on. And so, again, taking the risk tells not only a lot about you, but it's definitely a hell of a story when you get a chance to tell it. Because, again, I talked about this the last time we were on the Hall of Game, is that when someone does something quite amazing or life-changing for someone, or for the for an environment, or for the country, or just for the overall community, the number one thing to ask is, how did you do it? Mm-hmm. And that's when you tell your story. I was working a job, I was broke, I was homeless, and I took a chance, mm-hmm. and this is what came out of it. That's all your testimonial stories, that's all they are. I was at a disposition. I took a risk. It paid off. The end. There's some filler in between.
Right. No. Those are definitely facts. Let me shout out to Brother, getting too old for this. I regret working with the same tech company for 12 years, had taken risks to try out some new companies. My income would have been 50% higher than it was. And then also, shout out to, I believe, Brother Ted Santos. He messaged me on Facebook wanting to get on the hall to get him on here. I haven't done it for about a week. So the greatest investment you can make is in yourself. Some investments have high returns. Sometimes they fall to zero. Lessons learned cannot be bought. Go ahead and subscribe to Brother Ted Santos, guys. Good to see you, brother. So let me just, kind of talk about this with a lot of black men, right? And I noticed, based off what you've been saying, I want to just add to that. Even with black men that travel abroad for passports, let me just say this: when I come to, let's say, in Africa, right, you would think that as many blacks talk about Africa or talk about African tradition, because like black Americans either have a love affair with Africa or they hate it. Usually they have the love affair with it. Like a lot of black people respect going to Africa for whatever reason. But when you get on those planes, man, you don't see our people on those planes. I can go a year without running into another African American on a continent. But when you go on, you can go Ethiopian Airlines. If you get the Qatar, what do you see? You see white people, you see Asians. And one of the reasons why a lot of African Americans don't have a lot of wealth, in my opinion, is because they're just not as traveled. A lot of brothers don't travel. And if you look at the billionaire Chuck Feeney, who started Duty Free, that opportunity was started because he was in the military or was studying in France, and there was an opportunity for him to sell liquor to people in the military, and that's how Duty Free started, like on ships. And then on airports, and he made a ton of money, and that company's still going on to today. And black men just don't even travel outside the United States. A lot of black men have not even been outside of their state. The United States is a big country. Before that, like I was 34 before I went to Poland, and I think also that has a lot to do with it. For me, if I would have never traveled someplace else, that it would have gave me another thing too. It gave me a lack of perspective of the world. And for a lot of black men, African American men, our perspective a lot of times is just our city. Is just Dallas, is just Houston. But if you don't have a greater perspective of moving around, you don't know different things. Like a lot of guys who make the most money, ask them where they've been. You'd be surprised at where they've been. They've been all over the country. People lived in different places. A lot of black men just have not done it. And most people that have money, guess what? There's never a billionaire or a millionaire that's just like, yeah, I'll stay here all my life. It doesn't work. You know what I mean?
Nope.
Most rich people have been different places. And we try to get brothers to travel and go different places for whatever reasons. Because number one, it broadens your horizon on to seeing how different people make money, seeing how different people earn. Sometimes your best opportunities, I knew a guy, right? Very talented. He didn't want to leave Oakland, and but I was like, bro, but your job will pay you $30,000 more in North Dakota. Nah, man, I love the Bay, because he liked the nightlife. He liked certain things, he was also like, I think like an oil, something like that, or he was from Oakland, but he loved the Bay Area. And then also that was opportunity available for him in like, I want to say Alaska. And a lot of guys got to understand you like my dad used to always tell me, you go where the money is too, right? You talked about that briefly. A lot of black men got to understand that all the times opportunities are not the greatest, maybe where you from. Maybe Youngstown, Ohio is where you from, like Uncle Ron and Dr. Kenya Meadows, but Dr. Kenya Meadows ain't working in Youngstown. He is in Florida, right? And a lot of black men just got to suck it up and say, you know what? I need to move around. Today, I had one of the biggest meetings today. I won't tell you, one of the biggest sanitary pad companies in East Africa today. And, I wasn't even looking to create content, but they saw the Kingana channel and it was like, yo, man, we like what you're doing here. Can you help us with a pitch? And I would never think that I would be pitching to a sanitary company about how they can improve their presence on social media. And the thing is, if I wanted to take the opportunity to come here, I wouldn't even have an opportunity to do that. So a lot of black men just need to say, you know what? If I get an opportunity in Virginia and I can take it, I'm going to take it. If I can get an opportunity in Utah or North Dakota, That's what keeps a lot of our brothers back. A lot of our brothers refuse to go where the money is. Like, we used to hear guys like this in the black community, homesick Negro. Okay, and let me just weigh in on you niggas, because I know a lot of people like that. They would be good hood celebrities. They get a scholarship to play at Grambling, at Michigan State. You know why they didn't make it to the NFL? It wasn't because they was good. You know what happened? It goes homesick. You know how many talented black men that don't make it? It's not because they're not smart. They're homesick. Can you believe that?
Yep.
Niggas come back home because they fucking homesick, bro. And then when you think of it, it happens all the. See, a lot of people don't talk about that. A lot of brothers are homesick and they just can't get away from the house. But that's what's going on. And like brothers like yourself, you from one part of Michigan, you in Detroit. Andre Hatcher from New York, he's in Atlanta. Ramil from Chicago, he's in Atlanta. You go to where the money, you go where you have opportunities. And I just don't see a lot of black men with that mentality. Go ahead, brother. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. And again, you can't make this point enough, is that you have to think about what you're getting, where you have to think about what you're getting right now compared to what you could be getting if you were elsewhere. Right. Well, I don't know if you've seen one of my YouTube videos. I did a video called "Saying Yes to Every Opportunity," and I talked about how I did a movie back in 2010, a Disney movie. It was with Kurt Russell, Barry Sanders, and Brian Presley. I played a high school student and a football player. It's called Touchback. Mm-hmm. And we were doing one-on-ones, offense, defense, and as you guys know, I play fullback at Central, blah, 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 blah. Mm-hmm. And the producer / recruiter, Mark Ellis, was like, "Hey, son, you're kind of athletic. Can you play linebacker?" And I was like, I mean, I played in high school. Like, I'm thinking to myself, I played in high school. Like, I haven't played linebacker in 3 years. Like, no, I can't play linebacker. But instead of thinking about it as, a football player, I'm not thinking about it as a movie. So I told him, no, I don't know how to play linebacker. O'Shea, that I still got a chance to be in the movie. But at the same time, the brother who got that position over me got speaking roles, got a lot more camera time. He had an opportunity to do another film. Wow. And you know what I mean? And he wasn't stronger, bigger, faster. He wasn't more athletic. He just said he could do it. And that was one of the biggest lessons I had to learn. Like, fuck, if I would have just said yes, and if I would have, done poorly, it would have been different rather than saying no and not giving myself the chance. And that was one of the biggest lessons I had to learn about taking risks.
Wow. That's an amazing story, man. Like, shit.
Yeah, it was.
How long ago was this?
That was 2010.
2010, okay.
That was 2000. I just finished. That was spring. Yeah, we just had that big bowl game. AB went over. Was going to the draft, and it was right after spring football. We shot the movie during the summertime. And again, and the reason why I tell that story is because I told myself that I would never miss out on these opportunities ever again. And I've done so much since then that I've, having to become a risk taker, because one thing I will say about being a risk taker is that you get a second drive out of life. You wake up like, I get to, go after this today. You know what I mean? Kind of, you're not just, okay, I got to get up, I got to go to work, put in my 8 hours, come home, make me something to eat, kind of rest and relax, get ready for the next day. When you're shooting towards something, you have your drive for life shoots up tenfold, because it's like, oh shit, not only do I have to, do what, what's necessary, to sustain living, but I can also have an opportunity to become this. I can also have an opportunity to own this, or to do this, or to be this. And so when you're that risk taker, you put so much more into it, and your life has so much more purpose on top of it when you're looking to do something. And I think that's where a lot of risk takers get the thrill of, oh shit, I need to, go to bed and get some rest because in the morning, I gotta pump these weights. I got a goal to reach, or I gotta make these phone calls for this business, or, I need to study this chapter in this book so I can learn a second language. And that drive does something for you. It gets you off your ass and it makes you go achieve something. And that's one of the things I will say about taking these type of risk is that when you get up in the morning and you literally have something to go for you after your 9 to 5, they say you work your 9 to 5, so you work your 5 to 9. So many people are like, I can't wait to get home and get started on my business. I can't wait to get home and get started on my, fitness journey, whatever it is. And those type of people tend to excel more because they have more to I say, for lack of better terms, they have more to live for outside of their 9 to 5, and they tend to just do that much better.
No, I agree. I definitely agree with that. And as far as having something to look forward to, as a person that takes risks, we're not even talking about just entrepreneurship, right? We're talking about whatever. If you're a person that wants to switch careers, like Gabe A, he was an electrical engineer and wanted to go into tech. To do something more that you like, because some people obviously want to do something that's more enjoyable or more meaningful. Some things taking a risk are not about money. Some people actually don't mind downsizing for personal happiness, right? So whatever, we all, don't get me wrong, most people are motivated by money. Some people are not. For whatever reason it is for you to do whatever you want to do, having more autonomy over one's life is a very, 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 very great thing. Like, I do have to wake up when I have to go to class at certain times. I mean, obviously I have to do that when school's in session. But, with regards to waking up and having to be, told by a boss to do something, I don't even remember what that feels like. I haven't had that feeling since 2014. And one of the things is that I was watching Jay Prince's biography. Jay Prince from Houston.
Yeah.
And the guy was working as a bank teller. And this guy that had no college education or anything like that, but he just a guy that's a big dreamer. And he was like, yo, I'm gonna let this shit go. I got an opportunity. There's a market out here in Houston rap entertainment. Nobody's developing it. Let me come in and develop it and create the market. And I want to say this: if you are a brother that is into creating markets that are not there, you can be very successful, man. I mean, you can. If you're a person that wants to create the markets, a lot of times in the Black community, and in especially in Black male spaces, we lose a lot of money every year simply because we don't have an established market. So, which means that there's no administration of the market. So when you don't administrate something, you lose it automatically because it's not there. I'm gonna give you an example. There's a guy named Sudhir Rupael, okay? In Uganda, there are 10 super rich millionaires. The top 5 of them are not even Black. Idi Amin kicked this guy and his family out in the Asian expulsions of the 70s. The guy went to London. He came back with 25,000 pounds. At that time, that was maybe about like $50,000 or $60,000, right? So in today's money. And he came back, had enough money for 2 years. And he said, you know what? I'm going to get into the beer trading industry. And he did that. Was making like $5,000 or $6,000 a week from Kenya to Uganda. Then we switched there. He went into the Forex trading, selling currencies. Then from there, he went to banks. And the guy owns everything, man. He has schools here. He has country clubs. I mean, I go eat at this country club all the time. You know what I mean? Excellent service. He employs people from India all the time. Like, I'm talking about taking care of your people, man. Nobody does it like this guy. Guy has everything in this country. He's the richest guy by far. And how do you become that way? It's, a lot of guys realize the need to solve problems, and there you go. And I try to talk to Black men all the time. Like, a lot of Black men are, a lot of us, Brother Ali, we like to complain a lot. We complain about the Black community, how Pookie gets all the love. We complain about sisters liking Pookie and stuff like that. And I mean, I get it. Don't worry. I mean, those are points can be very true. And I do have some content that's gonna dust some of them sisters off, because I love to hit them with that left hook sometimes too, right?
Right.
But here's the situation though. A lot of black men are not focused on developing the markets that can help you, that can help other brothers. People will pay for things that you develop. And then when you don't develop it, what happens is the Asian guy who's from Korea or from China, they move into where you at, that you're trying to move away from, and they develop your market for you, and they're gonna do it with shittier service. They're gonna do it with not knowing the people, and then they're gonna make money off of the money that you should be getting, and then they're gonna send all their kids to college off of your dime.
Yep.
And the thing about it is, as black men, we gotta be like, wait a minute. We are losing markets that we should be controlling and be, hold on, wait a minute. We got opportunities to develop systems where we are at. I mean, in Africa, if you want to talk about developing systems, even black male podcasts, there are not many. Black male business shows, there are not many. I think we have one of them, the few 3 or 4 that probably exist in the whole world. In the world. Yeah. Like, look at the possible reach.
I think the only other, and they're not even black centered, they're just 2 black men. I know one is Benji's dad and Chris Hogan. But I don't think those are just black. I don't think those are black. I just think they're just black men who do business. I don't think they're geared towards black men. But yeah, you're right. There's not too many of us.
So what I'm saying is, a lot of times, brothers, we need to, as far as taking risks. Sometimes a lot of brothers, though, the risk is not really a financial risk, but it's a time risk, right? And let me talk about this. What a lot of black men, if like starting a YouTube channel is a risk for some people, because it's time. It's like the time I could be doing it, I could do something else, right? And a lot of times, everything about risk isn't about money. It's about the time and how long will it take for me to get the money. Like I don't know if I'm gonna get the money, but if I show up every day for 5 years, I don't know if I'm gonna get the money. And here's something that I want to tell brothers about that too, because it's not always a money risk. A lot of time it's a time risk. I want to tell you right now, black men, you cannot get around putting in the time. Like Steve the Dean said, you can't cheat the game. Can't cheat it. Sorry.
Nope, not at all.
If you brothers are somewhere here looking for a quick fix or looking for, and there's a lot of you niggas that are like that, sorry. Can't cheat the game, right? Like we're here almost every day. The internet's not bad. We hear if we get 100 people in the queue. We hear if we get 40 people in the queue, the notifications aren't working. We still hear why. We can't cheat the game. There's no way. There's no cheat code for this. We have to be here. Whether you come here or not and listen, I'm gonna be here, right? Ali gonna be here because we know that we cannot cheat this shit. And a lot of guys just don't want to put the investment and the time. It's not even about the money; it's about the time. The time is you gotta put the time in, flat out. Okay. That's just the truth. A lot of you guys don't want to hear it. That's just the fucking truth. Black men have to put the time in. If you're not going to put the time in, you're going to be where you're at. That's the truth. You don't have the time, you better find it. Find it. Don't make excuses. Find the time. You have the time to go meet up with these chicks. You got time to go play basketball. You got time to, you have to put the time in, guy. You're going to have to do it. You can't get around it. Time is the most important thing than money. If you want to take a risk, you're going to put the time in. And a lot of guys would rather spend the money up, put the time in. And a lot of times, a lot of brothers fail, Brother Ali. They want to put the money up, not the time. The money is just the second problem. The time is the most important thing. A lot of guys want to put time and effort.
Absolutely.
And you can't get around it.
You can't always throw money at a problem.
That's what's wrong. Go ahead, brother. I'm sorry.
No, you're right. And you know what? It's funny, O'Shea, as I'm sitting here thinking about it. If it wasn't for people putting the time in, you would not have what you have in the Black manosphere today. And the reason why I'm saying that is shout out to Obsidian. Obsidian has become the voice for the quote unquote non-select guy on YouTube. If Obsidian wouldn't have got on that mic and talked for 5 years about what's going on and on the on the dating field, for quote unquote non-select guys, putting a mirror on everybody else, putting in the work, putting in the stats, the data, the research, and now other men are finally coming out, who are basically of that same camp, and now they have a voice because someone has opened up the floodgates for them to have that voice. When you said like you said, when we take risk, it's not always just about you. It's about who you affect as well. You don't know that the risk you're taking could open up something for somebody else.
Right.
But you're so afraid of being judged or being mocked or ridiculed that you don't realize that you could be literally opening up something to be the next biggest thing. And for a lot of us, that scares the hell out of us. You literally have to put the time in, and so people know that you're official. A lot of times you have to do things for free before you get paid. It's like being an intern before yourself. You have to show people that you're serious. You have to show people that you are worth it. And that's why you have, big time YouTubers or big time bloggers where they can do it one time a week and people still support because they put all that sweat equity in up front. So people will hang on to their every word. And so now we have it where people just kind of want to get into something, blow up quickly, and and get all the props, accolades, and accomplishments. But that's not how that works. You see it, and you have to realize that when you are putting some skin in the game, time is one of those essential things that you have to put in order to get people's respect.
Yeah.
That's why you date for somebody for 6 months to a year to 2 years before you commit to them long term.
Right.
Because after a couple of weeks they may change. After a couple of months they may change. Or even if they do change, can you bear with it? You know what I mean? You see it all the time on YouTube where people, come on YouTube is one thing, and then after so long, they show their true colors. You know what I'm saying? And so it's about the consistency. People like consistency because they know what they're getting with you when you put that time in.
Right.
Even if, even if it's something that that you may not think that the people like, if they're responding to it, you give it to them. And when you continue to put that skin in the game, you get, again, if you take YouTube, you go from 1 subscriber to 5 subscribers, 5 subscribers to 12 subscribers, 12 subscribers to 50, 50 to 100. It's going to take some time because people need to, it's just like we're in marketing a business. People need to know that you're out here doing something.
Right.
And the more people catch wind of what you're doing, and the more people that like it, the more people want to get involved or more people want to support. But again, you have to take the risk and say, I'm going to do this for X amount of months, X amount of years, and see what comes out of it. And I'm just curious to know who's really willing to make that mark.
Oh yeah. And that's definitely true. You gotta put the time in, in anything that you do. And a lot of guys, don't want to do that. Thank you for the CM training for this support. A lot of people don't want to. Great show, Shane Brother Sonny. All the brothers got to understand. You gotta put the time in. A lot of times for me, like it's 5 a.m, and I've been up since like 2. And I typically do my dirty work from like around 2 a.m. to about, some days I have, lax days or whatever. But, I try to start my work around 2 a.m. now. And I have things to do. We have to get ready for the day every day. When I'm in Poland, I might have a class at 8 till 3. And then if we have a show, then I got to be up at 12 to 2. And then kind of go back from sleep from 2 to 6, and to be up at 7 to go to class at 8. That's been my story of my life since I've been in Poland, right? And other people, they can't afford to, they don't have to do that. But me, when you got you got bills and you got the more you make, the more you have to spend, right? This is what it takes. It's a part of my lifestyle, and now it's just a part of me. I don't even know what to do without working like this. So you guys understand. So a lot of guys got to understand that taking a risk is talking about, for a lot of guys, putting in time is a risk. Because a lot of guys like their life as it is. To be able to, go to the club when you want to go, kick it with chicks when you want to kick it with. And I noticed that here a lot of, in more so in Africa, right? In Uganda. It's a lot of people that just kicking it all the time. There's nothing like, because time is a bad, I won't say it's a bad thing, but I noticed like the Indians and the Asians, they're more, that I've seen, they're more respective of the time, right? And they're more focused on the time from what I've seen. Most other people, the time is like, I kind of get to it when I get to it. And the commitment to it is not really there. So I urge guys, you're going to have to give up the time, because if you don't give up your time, you're going to be ruled by people who have put in the time. That's the truth. Like the guy that you hate, that's your boss, or the guy who owns that company, that guy cares about his time. You don't, which is why you work for him. That's the situation. If you don't care about putting the time in, you will be ruled by people who put the time in. There's no doubt about that. You can be mad, you can be upset, but they will rule you, okay? They will be signing your paychecks. They will be telling you when you can't come in for break, and you'll be sitting there mad. And the reason why is, well, they put the time in and you didn't. So now you're butthurt about it. Don't be mad at them. Be mad at you. All right? I used to be a kind of employee like that. It was always their fault, and the job is holding me back, and I hate this job. And I thought about it. Wait a minute. Well, do I have anything to do with this? The answer is yes. Okay? The answer is yes.
Right.
The answer is because I wasn't doing what I was supposed to do. It's not their fault. All right? If I'm working there, it's my fault, not their fault. So a lot of you guys. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. Finish up.
Yeah. So I mean, a lot of brothers got to realize, man, that hey, if I don't be conscious of my time, I'm going to be ruled by people who are more conscious of my time, and they're going to control my time, whether I like it or not. Somebody going to get your time, whether you like it or not. It might as well be you. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, you just gave me an idea for a video, and I'm looking around the realm of how discipline makes you a god amongst men. And the reason why I'm thinking about it is because as you talk about the people who put the time in, they also put in the sacrifice in the discipline. And how that reverts to taking risk is that, for the brothers who are in the NoFap community, if you're trying to increase your masculinity, if you want to, get a deeper voice, what you got to do is you got to stop beating that meat. And do you have the discipline to do it? Yeah. If you're looking to build muscle and lose weight, do you have the discipline, and the willpower to put down the fries and eat a salad every night? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Taking the risk is also just having the discipline and the willpower to do so. And so, Osha, if you think about it, men who make a lot of money, men who have great physiques, brothers who are good at women, or associated with women, I should say, these type of guys that kind of look like as a godlike figure because they've mastered something. And what did they do? They studied it long enough. They put in enough time and effort into it. They've done everything they needed to do in order to make that risk pay off. Mm-hmm. And so, and these brothers, pay money just to know, how did you do it? Mm-hmm. As we talked about earlier today. And so again, that discipline piece is going to be the most important thing, because I'm being honest, O'Shea, I'm still struggling with it myself. Loading YouTube content. Um, every other day. Like I said, getting the boys to bed, and make sure the wife is straight so she can get a good night's sleep. Because the baby's almost here. We're about a couple weeks away, and so finding an extra 2 hours to film and edit and find a topic and research and read. It takes a lot, but at the same time, if you want to put the skin in the game, you got to do it. No excuses. And I'm saying this as a baby YouTuber. This is a lesson I'm learning right now, because in order to get that consistency, you gotta let people know that you're there, despite whether you feel like doing it, whether you have the time to do it. You got to do it so people can constantly look for your stuff and look for what else is on your plate, so they can continue to say, hey, he's putting in the effort, he's doing the work. I'm going to support him because I know he's been taking his time while raising a family to provide this content, and eventually it'll pay off.
Yeah, shout out to brother Eric. Oh, shit, no shout out, nigga. I seen you, man. Damn. Hold on, man. Let me get to the brothers, brother. Man, I seen your brother Bill. See him training. Great show, O'Shea and brother Sonny. Yeah, man. Yeah, man, nigga. Nigga, what's your PayPal? I'll give you your $5 back, nigga. God damn. Niggas really just think, man. Shut up, nigga. I see you. Shout out to Eric Archer. I'm leaving my bank job next week to be a full-time real estate agent. Wish me luck, guys. Brother, I wish you real good luck with your feisty ass. That's my brother, though. He be tripping. So
no, and good luck to him. No, honestly, because a lot of times, like I said before, is like for a lot of us, the only support we really get is from other brothers. Right. And right. I really hope that this endeavor works out for you, Eric. Any way that we could help you out, definitely let us know, because the real estate game is a doozy. You're in an opportune field, but you're going to have to really work at it, because even though interest rates are low, depending on how this economy goes, like, you're going to have to really polish your craft, because you're probably going to have to talk to a lot of business owners, a lot of people who got money, in order to get these houses sold as the economy is doing what it's doing. But we wish you the best of luck. You're here, you got your support over here at the Hall of Game, and hopefully in the next 6 months, maybe we'll get you you'll be 100,000 there by that time. We'll be cheering you on.
Yeah, brother. Everybody wish brother Eric Archer, man, in the chat, good luck. And if there's anything that we could do to get you brothers, like I said, we trying to develop more of a network here. So if anybody want to buy Washington D.C., so if y'all in the D.C. area and you want to buy a house, look at my brother Eric Archer, real estate services.
Hey, we better not catch you on them Pornhub fantasy scenes where you real estate agent bangs client in the kitchen.
Right. Yeah.
Like, we better not catch you on one of those, player.
I can show you one of these houses, sister, for a little bit of some of that thing.
Right.
Mess around and be on be in New York Times and getting exposed.
Right. Messing around talking about some, if you go down on me for the down payment.
Oh shit! Oh,
I'm just saying. I wish him the best, though.
Right. Don't be out there simping it up, nigga. But anyway, so again, shout out to the brother. And guys, I do want to thank you for being on the hall. Hey, Sister George. So yeah, thank you guys. Right, I apologize. I haven't been doing a lot of live streaming. My live streaming is going to get better when I get back to the West, to Poland and Europe. I'll break back my cracking shows, man. But right now, I'm just out here struggling, family, with this African internet. I'm just, I can't really do a whole lot, nigga. But we out here struggling. So you brothers keep my channel in prayer, nigga. So I thank you, brothers, for everything you guys been doing. And let me just do this real quick, right? Because Brother Ali is always here, right? And we want to help our brother move up in the ranks, right? Coach Ali's corner. And like I said, he's here all the time. He's doing the work. And what I would like to do is get more brothers to subscribe to him. He's 647 subscribers away from 1,000 subscribers. So if you guys can do me a favor, go to Coach Ali's Corner, right, and press 1 as we are trying to get his channel more subs. And so I want to do that. Sister George, I need you to subscribe right now. You ain't give me your number, but let's do that. So, guys, if you're in the chat, subscribe to Coach Ali's Corner by hitting the link and hitting the subscribe to the bell, the notification bell. The brother's here all the time, right? If nobody is going to show up, Ali will show up. And he's one of the reasons why you have a show as often as we do. So let's help the brother out. Like I said, he's tackling a difficult sector of YouTube, which is, motivating Negroes, which is very, very difficult to do. So, it's a hard field. But, like I said, a lot of us, we are trying to stay. It's tempting to go into the mainstream YouTube, which is white YouTube, right? And just get a whole bunch of subscribers. But, we have a heart for this particular community. So we're trying to stay here and have shows that are for our people. So if you guys want more people to create content for you, like Black men, we have to support our content creators, right? We need to support more of our content creators than we do. So, and I will say this. I'm almost at 100,000 subscribers. I can say that I've gotten there by just talking to Black men for all the years I've been here, which has been hard, right? I have a Black male audience, and that's who I don't create content for Black women. I don't do, I'm not doing like pro-Black community content. I have pro-Black views, but I've done that just by talking to this community. It's been a hard pull, but guys, thank you for so much. Thank you for subscribing. I think we have some sisters that subscribe to you. Now he is married. Y'all don't be over there in the inbox. All right, so we got a few subscribers there. Coach Ali, anything else we can say, brother?
No, I just appreciate you as always, Osha, having me on, and hopefully we can get it again tomorrow. Hopefully the internet stays up. If we got to pay somebody off, we got it. But let's get it again tomorrow.
All right, and guys, thank you so much. I really appreciate you for all that you do. And guys, we'll see you tomorrow, hopefully. All right, thanks again, brother Ali.
Yep, as always.
Peace, brother.
Peace.